your stuff on the stands handler.
What's going on, folks? It is Geeked Out right here on Dub Radio.
Yeah!
I didn't give you guys a good enough warning. Like, hey, what's going on? Hey, like, all of a sudden, oh, the show has started. I'm Matt JQ. This is Free. This is Chandler, and we have a special guest in the studio right now, Trina. Guest here, and it's always
a female guest.
Yes,
right?
definitely.
Finally.
Really. It's been like, we need to bring in
the feminine touch.
The feminine insight. How's that?
Yes, definitely.
Forget the feminine touch. The feminine insight. That's what we need. Because you have all this testosterone.
Jeff, what's going on there, buddy?
Whoa.
Jeff is making stuff up over there.
I know. Sorry about
that.
I
have 4 sons, so I'm used to lots of testosterone. Even my dog is a boy.
Awesome. That's like my house. It's all males. So I get
it.
Anyways, so I'm talking about movies and all that good stuff for the next hour. So,
woo!
Trina, tell us about yourself. What are you bringing to the table today?
Well, my name is Trina, but I'm also known as Movie Review Mom. At moviereviewmom.com, shameless plug.
I'm glad you got that in.
So I'm a bit into comic books, obviously. But I brought you guys a couple of little gifts. We'll start off with the gifts.
Hey, that's another good reason to have guests. They bring gifts.
Worth millions of dollars. Okay, so the most recent comic book movie was... Venom. So I do some marketing reports. Not quite 3D, but you can touch it. There's like, isn't that cool?
Like you can't see it on the video, but it's embossed and it's like raised and everything. It's really cool.
Let's see those tongues, guys. Can you imitate it?
No.
I'm not even going to try.
Not even going to try.
If you're from New Zealand, they do that tongue thing when they dance. Anyway, I thought that was kind of cool.
Oh my God.
Man.
This is a family show. It's got nothing to do with Hardy or anything.
I'm sorry. That was the testosterone flowing over there.
No.
That's it for our show, folks. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you. FCC, we'll see you soon.
It's Movie Review Mom, so we got to keep it clean when Trina shows up. Have you guys ever been to the Vegas Valley Book Festival? It's down on 5th Street, the old 5th Street school. They have it every year in November. Anyway, you guys are obviously expert comic book guys, so you may laugh at this, but this is actually an Aquaman one. The next comic book movie coming out is
Aquaman with Jason Momoa.
Technically, that's not correct.
What?
The next one coming out is a Spider-Man animation film.
Oh, you're right. Spider-Verse. Into the Spider-Verse.
Well, live action. Let's say live action.
That's my job.
Well, they didn't have the comic books for that one. But you're right. I'm excited about both of those.
Yeah. Very cool.
So wait.
It doesn't take much to incite the children over there.
Like you're not excited, please.
You're getting free stuff, man.
Right? You're getting free stuff.
I freeze my jam, man. So.
In fact,
here's my another shameless plug. If you go on to moviereviewmom.com and you sign up for my newsletter, you will get because freeze my jam. So my gift to you.
If anything, if there's any reason to go to, what was it again? What was your site?
Moviereviewmom.com.
If there's any reason to go for that reason alone, how to see free movies.
Exactly.
There you go.
Because I got tired of paying for a movie. Was it movie pass?
Movie pass.
Did you do that?
I did that for a while.
I had that same experience, and they're kind of in the middle of trying to revamp and get those customers back because when they first came out, it was so popular. Everybody loved it. And then, they made some changes.
But are they going to offer the same type of services though? Because remember, when Movie Pass first came out, it was like you get to the point where it's like, okay, well, you can get 3 movies a month or something like that. It was, and then it got to the I would open the app to look for movies, and there was nothing listed, and I'm like, what is the point of having this if I can't even watch a movie?
Right, they added all kinds of limitations that really angered their fans. It was funny because fans for Movie Pass spewed because they were so passionate about it. But right now, United Artists has a pretty good deal.
Yeah, I was looking. what do they have exactly? And what's the cost and all that?
Oh, last time I looked, I think it was $9.99 or maybe it was $19.99. It's on my report. I forget the one that you get for free at moviereviewmom.com. You're not going to have me back if I keep saying that.
No.
But
Yeah, make you get branded wear.
yeah.
I know.
You gotta get like a shirt or something
Yeah, I
that
know,
has
that's
your name and logo on it.
Yeah.
That way people see it all the time without you having
You
to
guys
tell
aren't
them.
wearing branded.
No.
You know, the thing is, I normally would wear like a Geeked Out shirt, but I was the only one ever wearing it. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to wait till they wear it.
Somebody stole mine.
Well, phrase that. It got apprehended by one of my other employees.
Like, I don't know any of
The
you,
one
of
you
you,
know,
I
because
don't know
I
any
wear
of your other
the
employees that have
bigger
your bill.
size. I wear the bigger size.
Yeah.
So, and I only ordered in like 2 copies or two of those big size for me, and sure enough,
Wearing them.
is that my shirt?
Okay, so I was like, man, I'm not the only one that wears
Yeah.
this shirt. Like, I wear it to conventions and all this stuff. I was the only one wearing it. Now I know
Literally,
why.
I cannot find mine, and I knew I had it after San Diego.
You gotta wash your clothes. It's in the pile. It's
I
on the
know it's
bottom.
always the bottom somewhere, but I couldn't find it. So yeah,
Yeah.
I got.
Oh, there you go.
Do you still have
I still have
a
some.
large slash?
What we
extra
need to
large?
do is we need to actually get them up on the site and
Yeah.
sell
We do
No.
have
It's a hot
Dovetail
commodity.
retail,
No,
so don't totally put it on there. So anyways, back to Trina, moviereviewmom.com. Did I get it right? Talk about movies, since that's why you're here.
Awesome.
What is the last movie that you watched?
I am in the movie theater every week. Like I said, I do some marketing reports for some theaters. So I always am there Friday. I see the latest, newest movie that's out. So last weekend, the new movie that hit the box office was Halloween.
Ooh, yeah.
Did you see the original?
Well, that was my next question for you guys.
Oh, of course,
Have
yes.
you seen the original?
No, I'm not.
What?
I'm not a
Me
scary
neither.
movie
What?
kind of guy
I'm
because
not
I
either.
get. The problem is I get a little jumpy, and people get hurt when I get jumpy. What can I say? You know, it's like someone walks up to me and I end up doing a back elbow on their head or something. Oh, I'm sorry. Don't walk up to me.
There's so much disbelief in the movie that I'm like, I'm not scared. I mean, this is kind of funny. Like the last horror movie that I watched was Saw, the very first Saw.
Wow.
That was the last one I watched.
15 years ago.
The killer gets up, and I'm sitting there like, really? He's been there the whole time? I'm done with this movie.
Well, I don't really like scary movies either, so I had never seen the original, but when this one was coming out, I thought, okay,
Yeah,
I need to check it out.
Yeah.
And it's, of course,
Of course.
but I was looking really carefully to see how they were going to do respectful nods to the past in this new movie. And I think there have been like 11 of these movies that came out.
Yeah, there's been a lot.
So the good news is if you've seen the original and you missed all the other ones, you can skip all the
nice.
all the stuff in the middle. But I like Jamie Lee Curtis, and so I was really fun. I was curious to see where they were going to take her character, and I thought she brought kind of a reality to it because, of course, 40 years later, she's lived this tormented life, and so, you know, when you watch the original, there's some scary stuff. There's some jumps and scares that would make Chandler's elbow fly, but. This time it's taken to more of a Walking Dead level where there's lots of gore. 40 years ago, rated R movie is now a PG-13 movie.
Yeah, even if
You
that,
know?
right?
Yeah, so I always love twists. There's kind of a fun little twist at the end. Fun as in scary fun. But there's kind of a level of satisfaction. It's great, and other people are like, well, this is just another really crummy
So
sequel.
how
it's
does
just another-
review on your website?
You know, people ask me that all the time, and I can never remember what grade I gave it. I think I gave it a B because it's kind of like a B movie. And like I said, I'm not really into the creepy, scary horror, especially the slasher, bloody, yucky stuff. I'm a mom.
Yep.
I don't even like Halloween when people have all the gross ghouls. And my boys, growing up, were like, Mom, you know, let's decorate for Halloween. You know, nothing creepy and gross.
You know, it's funny that you bring up a twist at the end. Because I was just watching a TV show on Netflix called Master of None. And the guy was like, oh yeah, so we're going to go see this movie. And they're literally walking to the movie theater. And he goes, yeah, and I heard that there's a twist at the end. I'm like, what are you doing? I'm looking for the twist. He's like, well, I'm sorry. Like, you know, so it's one of those, a lot of really hardcore moviegoers, they don't even want to know if there's a twist or not, you know? But I'm like, it's like Marvel movies. You know that there's a twist in every horror movie. It's a sign of the times.
It's a given.
Yeah, it's a given.
It's a given.
I mean,
you sit
M.
there
Night Shyamalan just blew that whole thing up with Sixth Sense.
Yeah.
By the way, spoiler alert. That there's a twist at the end of that. So yeah, it's funny because a lot of them.
It's funny that you mentioned that about Marvel and Channer, because audiences have now been trained to stay in their seat at the end of a Marvel movie, right? And it was so funny because when I watched Venom, I watched the audience and nobody got up. I'm like, okay, these are Marvel fans. They know.
It's like, wait, I'm going, oh, wait a minute, this is DC. We can leave.
Yeah, we can leave. We sat here for an extra 7 minutes. Ah, man.
I know, and I love that. And I think it was Guardians of the Galaxy had, I can't remember, 4 or 5 little clips. So, you know, Venom has 2. In fact, one is a Spider-Verse, Into the Spider-Verse clip.
Part of what they're doing, though, is they're connecting that film into the Marvel universe.
Yeah, totally.
And giving it direction of where it can go. I mean, that's basically, now I can't speak for
all three of us haven't seen it.
Again, that's the reason why you're here.
Yeah, you've been busy.
But anyway, what I was going to say is that I think part of it also is that when you look at all the other Marvel movies that have been out, they've all been tied into the whole story arc that has been set up with Venom, like you said, tying it into the Spider-Man universe. And then the Spider-Man universe, you know, is loosely tied into the...
But you know what, I gotta admit though, it took me a while. It took me like 3 weeks to even get into the theaters for that. Because I didn't want to deal with the lines and having to sit like this. And
no, I literally, I was like, guys, Monday, we're going to the movie theaters. And it was like, that's around the time of my birthday. So I was like, all right, we're going to Galaxy Theater. We're getting what do they call the seats?
Yeah.
It's only
it's like a 3D seat almost.
Yeah, it's at the Galaxy Theater over at the Cannery, I think, or Eastside Cannery.
Over off of
So as huge comic book fans, what did you guys think of that movie?
Which one?
Avengers, the Infinity War.
What I mean, at this point now it's, okay, now Friday I have to drive down to LA, and part of my trip is I'm making a visit to Marvel Studios.
Ooh.
Like a kid in the candy store.
Yeah.
Yep,
See, now who's the kid?
I'm a kid.
What are you going to do there?
I actually have a customer, a client, who is an editor for Marvel Studios. I might be able to meet people.
We'll try to get interviews. Okay, so
I can't really elaborate. I get to meet certain people while I'm there.
Cool. There you go. That's very cool.
Awesome.
Very cool.
So, you know, see things, who knows.
So are you guys DC or Marvel fans?
Both.
Yeah, I lean more toward Marvel.
Yes,
I'm always going to be a Batman fan.
I was going to say, probably from the movie side, I'm more of Marvel.
Oh, yeah.
From the
On
comic
the
side.
TV side, though,
TV
I'm more
side.
DC.
Yeah.
You know what?
That's
Yeah,
actually a really
the
good
CW
distinction.
does a great job. Like they, you know, with Arrow and I
Oops.
know.
Well, we were talking about that. Real quick.
Well, sure enough, here it is. We talk about one getting canceled, and then a
And then
couple
Luke
days
Cage
after we
gets
talk
canceled.
about that, another one gets canceled.
But, you know, the theory is behind that is that we're probably going to see a Disney or a Marvel. I mean, it's crazy that they did that, that Netflix did that, but, I mean, I honestly don't think that Marvel would do that to their fans.
Sure.
You know,
They're
I'm
gonna
saying
bring
what?
I don't think Marvel would do that to their fans. Like just cut a series off. Like
No, I agree. I think,
Hope not.
honestly, and they're kind of like, well, here's what it's going to cost. Netflix like, no, we're not.
Marvel's
paying
like, nah,
we're not
the
paying that
licensing is
extortion
gonna-
fee,
right?
You know, and it's like,
Yeah.
okay, well, gee whiz, well, that's okay. Thank you very much. Hey guys, we
Move
just
on.
got it up for our own channel now, as to where the characters can go within the Marvel TV.
Oh, yeah.
universe.
Oh yeah.
So
They got a lot of outlets.
you never know.
But like what you were asking about the Avengers Infinity War review, what we actually thought. Honestly, well, I'm getting back to that because I was thinking about it. I think there's that one movie was so hectic. You know, there wasn't a focus on Captain America. There wasn't a focus on like Black Panther or whatever, you know, in their own fights on the moon and fights here on Earth and fights here in the Nether or whatever. It was. I don't want to dog on DC because Gal Gadot is my girlfriend, but they put together Justice League and just literally threw everybody saying, "Oh yeah, this is with Marvel," because of the way they made the characters.
Well, they spent 10 years.
Yeah, they spent 10 years of developing.
They really developed
when they
the fan
actually
base
did
too.
that, when they actually put it all together, what just happened? Like, how did they become such a cohesive team?
Yeah.
Out of nowhere, you know, just because Batman says, "Oh, let's get together," everybody just got together.
Well, it was funny. I was watching Suicide Squad the other day on TV, and what's her name? The head of Amanda.
Amanda Waller.
Amanda Waller.
Amanda Waller. He goes up to her and says, "Do you have something for me?" And she hands him this envelope, and his team. It was like, wow, okay, so he's never met them.
Right?
Yeah, he's calling them his team.
Never met them, doesn't know anything about them.
What's that?
Hasn't met them, doesn't know anything about them.
As an example, look at how Nick Fury put together the Avengers, and it was like movie by movie.
Yeah, one by one.
One by one. He would always end. That was almost part of that last 7 minutes too. Is that you'd have Nick Fury who would make that appearance of it. And now he's starting to build that relationship with that one person.
Yeah.
To bring them into the fold, and it obviously it comes down to the term strategy.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And then the people at DC, they
trying to catch up.
They're truly
park
playing
on
catch up, and even then they're having a hard time doing that.
Yeah.
They're almost, I hate to say this, they're almost better off for let's start fresh and let's just basically follow the blueprint. As much as they hate admitting it, let's follow the blueprint of what Marvel did, and let's bring our own characters, which people are gonna love the whole thing.
And even on a side note, like with Ben Affleck and Henry Cavill as Superman and Batman, you kind of had that glimmer of hope, like, okay, they finally, whoa.
That wasn't me.
Touching the mic, so Jeff, is that me? De Niro? No? Oh, he's
Okay, but one thing that drove me nuts about that movie is there's no way Batman could beat Superman in a movie. Come on. Superman.
It happened in the comics.
The creators of Superman, they're like, and Batman. Even though, I'm sorry, the creators of Batman, I think it was Kane, Bob Kane.
Right.
Even he said in an interview, he's like, Superman could kill Batman at any time he wants.
Yeah.
But because he doesn't want to be that guy, he doesn't want to.
Again, over the weekend, you had Superman on TV, Man of Steel.
Yeah.
And there's that scene where, at the very end, where he kills General Zod. And after he kills him, he just thing that he swore he would never do, and then just take a life.
It makes him like the villain. Yeah, he's such a good guy.
Well, even in the movie, though, I understand why he did it, but also, I look at like this, I can't take a life of a human, like Batman. You won't take Batman's life because he's a human. Humans are, if you really think about it, they're not as strong. They can't fly.
Well, it's like you stepping on an ant.
Yeah, it'd be like, because if he doesn't, then that person goes on to be, like that guy. The one that takes over the world. So, again, there's a lot of psychology in movies that we don't even think about.
Well, and then how do you feel when these comic book movies hit the big screen? Should they be created for the comic book fans, or should they be for future fans, for people that don't know the characters?
It's a great question. Yeah, definitely a great question, because it can go either way. Like, if you can hope that you make it for the comic book fan, and hope that you get all these people that aren't. Again, like you said, like a general storyline for both the mega fan and the non fan. So I think it can go either way.
Well, let's take Captain America as an example. They did a true origin story with him. How did Captain America come about? This is where I think Marvel, hit the nail on the head. Is that what they did was they built a film, number one, that they were able to keep it the comic fan embracing the movie. But at the same time, they were doing it in such a way that a fan who knew nothing about Captain America could watch that movie and still could embrace it. And this is where you saw something in the comic book industry. You look at the comic book industry, and it has its points where it has its high points and its low points. Industry really was starting to suffer and have its low point. And what ended up happening is now you have these movies that came out, whether it was X-Men, whether it was Spider-Man, or that are seeing these, and whether it's their parents go, oh yeah, I remember reading about that character when I was a kid. Oh, mommy, really? How cool is that? Link between the parent and the child. They have a connection there.
Yeah.
And now
Something they can share together.
to a certain degree, now what happens is the parent goes, well, I know where to, Dad, let's go to the comic book store and find out. And that's when you start
Do you
seeing
know
the
of a
research.
good comic book store in town?
What's that?
Do you know of a good comic book store in town?
A few.
Yeah, okay.
But there's one really good one.
For people who've never
Starts with
listened to
letter
this
C.
show before,
Oh, it's Celestial Comics. of
Celestial
course.
Comics
Hey.
here in Las Vegas. Yeah.
And so now you have this connection, and as a result of Marvel realizing that by doing the origin story, what you're doing is you're embracing the already comic fan out. Let's look at Batman when it came out with Danny DeVito,
which version?
and
Yeah.
Michael Keaton and stuff.
Yeah.
Love Michael
Someone
Keaton as
sees
Batman.
that.
That's what they did well with the Christian Bale when they first Batman Begins.
Christian Bale.
I mean, that was an origin story, and so that trilogy was like the best one that they ever had. But that Marvel,
Got many to choose from.
Wow.
honestly, Keaton, I like Keaton.
Yeah, I love him.
Actually, I like Ben
Ben Affleck.
Christian Bale did a great job.
See,
Um,
I'm Christian Bale.
You're a Christian Bale?
Really?
The reason why Val Kilmer did a great job is because he did the Adam West version of Batman in the movie. So if you look at it, he played the Adam West type in the movie. So looking at it that way, and it's a better movie. I don't know if you can beat
That's
Christopher
a
Reeve.
tough one.
I know.
Yeah, Christopher Reeve.
But Henry Cavill, pulling his chin,
Yeah,
I mean,
oh, yeah.
he's perfect for it.
Well, you know what? I before we had that little static thing, I didn't get to finish what I was going to say about those two. Batfleck and start doing something, and all of a sudden they're just not in the roles anymore. So what are they going to do now?
Well, it's funny though. Like you say, like what are they going to do now, right?
Mm-hmm.
When Ben Affleck, right? And so I think the casting is going to be a real. I don't know what to say. Like it's going to be the most important part. He's been Superman
And Daredevil.
and Daredevil.
Yeah.
Because he was Superman in Hollywoodland, right? So he played that character. Then he played what was it again?
Daredevil, yeah.
So
What about Will Arnett as Batman in the Lego movies?
Because he has that voice.
Characters. Who, number one, seems to have gotten more attention from the public among the DC characters when it came to casting? I say this because, again, this is, I think, where Marvel was able to get it right. Now, there were a couple of cases where they cast a well-established actor into a role, but for the and they ended up casting a total unknown.
Give us an example. Who are you thinking of?
Hugh Jackman.
Oh, I love Hugh Jackman.
yeah, you know.
Well, you may not be aware of this. Hugh Jackman was not the original pick for Wolverine. He
I'm trying to
actually-
remember who
Yeah,
was.
Gilbert Godfrey was supposed to be the.
Wow.
I forget the actor's name, but Hugh Jackman,
Glenn Danzig.
Wolverine, had a conflict in his schedule. And so Marvel had to basically go back and say, or it wasn't Marvel, it was
Sony.
Sony.
No, not Sony. Production back, so we're going to have to get someone
Yeah,
else.
we're gonna find somebody.
Okay, so I have another question for you guys. Since you brought that up, what did you guys think about the movie Logan being? Do you think movies should be made for fans that want hardcore? For example, Venom, people were thinking, wait a minute, it should have been rated R because then you could have really gone crazy with it, versus comic books are for kids.
And what was going on in that film, Logan, is a violent character, no matter what. He is a violent character. There's no sense of that violence that needed to really be portrayed. Because killing Logan, in order to do that, you're gonna have to get extremely violent in order to achieve that. So to stay in the graphics of the violence, hence it getting the rating it got.
Yeah, sure.
What do you guys think? Same thing?
Well, I think, yeah, personally, I think the same way. But also, it's kind of an unknown fact many years.
Yeah, 50s, 60s.
The recent comic books now are really more for the demographic of 18 to 35, 18 to 45, or whatever. Because of that, the comic book reader is not the 15-year-old. Archie, we're not looking at, well, even Archie got Rivendell. But, you know, it's more towards a more mature audience. If you go to a comic book shop now, Superman, Spider-Man, everything else, it's more towards.
Okay, but
That's a good
I would
point.
agree with that, but I also disagree because you're talking about printed material versus material that's up on the screen.
Yeah.
You know, printed material is flat in the sense that you have a single image that is able to portray something. Now, if you were to show and portray a particular panel in it, which got a horrendous amount of attention because it showed a particular part of Batman's physical anatomy, that would definitely be a comic book. If you see violence portrayed, it's still flat, it's still single image, versus seeing blood flying through the air, seeing the image of it getting on people's face from one, than just seeing a single frame of someone getting shot.
No, yeah, I agree with you. That's what I'm saying. Like, the reason why Logan actually worked as an R-rated, and because of the violence that had to be put into it, you can still see all that stuff anyway. So the translation between comic book and R-rated movies, it's there. You know, there's a correlation. Going back to Captain America, there's no blood. So,
Yeah, and as a mom, I don't need to see the blood fly to know somebody's been hurt, somebody just died, or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
I think a good director can convey that message without just, you know,
Absolutely.
showing it all to you.
Well, there's a point where you get to it being losing in your storytelling. Again, back to the question you asked of Logan. Logan, because of who the character is, because of what would be involved in that character, while there was probably some gratuitous stuff in there, I think most of it was needed in order to allow the story to progress. What was done on purpose was Deadpool.
Oh,
yeah.
that's
Okay,
definitely a
but that
rated
was-
R character.
But see, here again, that was a character because the character in the comic is intended to be R-rated. There are 4-letter words flying out of his mouth every second, even in the comics.
See, well, it's funny because originally he was a merc with the mouth. He was a wise guy because he was based off of how Spider creators created him. They had that same feel to him, but he wasn't saying 4-letter words. All of a sudden, it was like, well, we need to the F word or the H word.
You need to have, unfortunately, you needed to have a little bit of shock value
Yeah.
where the fans go, oh man, I can't believe he just said that. Let me see what he's going to say
Right,
next.
he just said that on this panel. Oh my God, he said it again. It's a cinematic movie. Now, especially Ryan Reynolds, he's not, I hate to say it, but he's not even acting. This is how he is in real life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he's not even acting, he's just playing himself.
Ryan is just, Ryan's just having fun.
Yeah, and he's having a blast.
You look at Ryan, and he's played 2 major comic book characters.
Yes.
And these 2 characters are so diametrically opposite from each other.
Green Lantern.
Custom made for one character, which is the one it works for him, and that's Deadpool. I'm sorry, Green Lantern.
You think they're going to bring back Green Lantern and try to do over on that one?
Actually,
probably
the
will.
rumor
I
I've
hope
heard
they
is
do.
Tom Cruise.
What?
Yeah, I heard that too.
Go with an unknown.
Yes.
Just like what they did with Gale playing Wonder Woman. Just like
Gal.
now, okay.
She's so perfect for that
Aquaman's a
role.
little different story because Aquaman that
Jason Momoa.
presents.
Right.
I mean, he has that look to him
Yeah,
that makes him look different
yeah.
than Arthur Curry, who
Clean shaven.
I love that casting, by the way.
clean, huh?
I
For the
love that.
movie?
Yeah, for the movie. I love
Yeah.
that casting because, I mean, it kind of makes sense if you think about it. Like when I think of seafaring people,
Yes.
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that made more sense to me
Yeah.
than going with something like that. So
Oh,
And
absolutely right.
but here again, it was one that I'm sure they probably could have picked Ben Affleck and all the stuff that Ben has done. I'm sorry, while he might be able to pull off Batman, I don't think he is the right person for Batman.
Who would you
I
pick
think-
instead?
Unknown, who, number one, can embrace the character, make that character himself, make, basically okay, so Chris Evans had done a couple of other movies before that.
Like not another teen movie.
But
Fantastic Four.
Fantastic
here it
Four.
is.
Yeah, he's so great
He's
as
run
Captain
his
America.
course. He's run his course of
Yeah.
I'm just gonna throw this out here real quick.
Oh.
If they ever were to recast Captain America, if they said, "Oh, we got to bring him back for another series of movies,"
Mm-hmm.
my casting would be Scott Eastwood.
That's
that'd be a
actually a really good
great-
choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got the look, he's got the body, he's got the
Yeah.
height, everything.
Good.
If
Early
he's in his
30s.
20s, then I'd say yes. If he's in his 30s, I'd say no.
Well, Chris
Right,
Evans, when
his
he first got casted, like you said, he did Fantastic Four, he did The Losers, he did all these smaller roles. Well, Fantastic Four wasn't that
I
small,
love Losers, by the way.
you know. But fairly unknown, right? He did. I want to do other projects. It's been 10 years. I'm thinking probably the main reason why is because if you're Captain America, you gotta stay fit for 10 years. Because there's reshoots, there's cameos and all that. You gotta look like that for 10
Can
years.
you imagine Chris
He
Evans?
hasn't had bread in 10 years, right?
So you know what? You've been asking us a lot of questions. We got to ask you questions
Yes.
because we got about 15 minutes left around there. So, let's the Wasp.
I was going to ask you guys what you thought of that.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, you're the reviewer.
Don't. I flipped through them. Like I looked at this Aquaman thing that I just gave you guys. I'll flip through it. But I'm not the hardcore fans that you guys are. So I love that they turned them into movies because and all of that. For example, Captain America. I had never read those comic books, and now I'm such a fan. And same thing with Guardians of the Galaxy. I knew nothing about them. I am the biggest
Nobody
Guardians
did.
fan. I'm like, ants. I don't know, really? So the first Ant-Man came out, and it was a big hit. Introduced a lot of people like me to the comic book characters and the storyline and all that. And I thought the second one came out and added Evangeline Lilly, who I'm a fan of hers. I have been since Lost.
Yep.
Probably like most people. And it was fun. It added an
Comes to
Yeah.
episode 4.
especially the end. I mean, and see, I guess one thing that that is different for me than for you guys is you know what's coming down the pike. You
Not
know the
necessarily.
stories.
Not
Well, you know the
necessarily.
comic book stories.
While they will use source material, they have also gone their own way, creating their own. What they did was they took some plan that they did.
Yeah, like an alternate plan.
Um,
That's true. Yeah,
So-
I don't even know what the story is. So anything I watch on the movie is new and exciting for me. I have no idea what's coming, which is awesome for me.
and that you go and see the movie, and then you get fascinated with the character, and it's like, wow, I'd like to learn more about. Depending on if you're talking about Spider-Man, or if you're talking about Batman, or you're talking about an obscure character. When was the last time you saw him in a comic?
Avengers West Coast in 1974, a year before I was.
When was the last time you even saw him in a comic?
I think Joe Mad did a Ultimate.
That they've been able to take obscure characters, and they've been able to take those characters and build stuff around them.
Yeah, like Guardians of the Galaxy. It wasn't a popular ever. It was never a popular comic book. Rocket. I need that leg. Get me that leg. You know,
Well, from a comic shop perspective, part of what happens is you look at all the books, which one is going to be the next $100 book?
right? Which is going to be the next first Ant-Man or first
You know, yeah,
whatever.
which does, or an introduction of a minor character no one really cares about, and suddenly ends up on the big screen, and then
that hasn't been turned into a movie that has ended up in the back bin that you would love to see in a feature film? Who would that be?
Oh, for me, it'd be Silver Surfer.
Silver Surfer.
Yeah.
Yes. He was in.
But
He was in
realize
Fantastic Four.
Oh, when's that movie coming out?
Exactly.
Because they
When
wanted
the
to see
Rise
more.
of the Surfer. Yes.
Yeah, and nothing
Here's
really.
the good thing about that movie.
He's the only good thing about that movie. Like,
you know, the thing is that when you look at how, I guess Guardians of the Galaxy would be a perfect example of that. You look at how they took the character.
Chris
He was a
Pratt's
planet.
dad. Yeah, yeah.
He was a
Eon.
planet,
Eo. Yeah.
Eon.
Eon.
Eon, the living
What was
planet.
his name?
and so
Yeah, it's Eon.
you know, you had to really make some changes to that character to make it something that was believable by the movie viewer.
And also, you got to have the right casting because when he's Star-Lord's, spoiler alert, all of a sudden he's Star-Lord's dad, and you're like, yes, Kurt Russell's Star-Lord's dad. You know what I mean? So it's
When you
crazy.
say spoiler alert, sorry, the movie.
Ego.
Ego, thank
Planet.
you.
I thought it was
You
Eon.
would have been chastised
It
for
was
that.
almost
So
I know.
thank you, Jeremy. But
Thanks.
so okay, so getting back to it though, that Ant-Man and Wasp, what would be your ranking A, B, C, D, E,
I
F?
gave it. I probably gave the first Ant-Man A minus, maybe, because
Okay.
it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And the second one maybe a B plus.
So
Actually, you know what? I
pretty
printed
close
them out.
then.
A minus.
Oh, there you go. So
Wow.
so basically, like what you're saying is with your ranking between those two movies, they're pretty similar in storytelling, pretty similar in. I love it. I love the fact that you can say like, okay, well, there's certain reasons why I gave it an A minus. So, because some people are just like, I don't like the movie, I hate Marvel. You know what I mean? Like, you can't do that, right? Like, you gotta actually.
Recognizing what makes their movies popular. What
Yes.
are the common threads or the storylines or the moments that make fans just go crazy? And for example, Ant-Man, I'd have to read my thing, you know that character? And the first movie, when they showed that, I'm
Yeah.
like, that's awesome. And I was so thrilled when they did that again in the second, because I thought, okay, good. Marvel's paying attention. They know what gets,
What the
a
audience.
which is great. That's one of the reasons why I think Marvel is doing so well is they're learning with every movie that comes out. They're
listening.
learning. They're
Yeah.
listening.
They're listening.
They're paying attention to the fans for sure.
He's done.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know, he's getting beaten up. Hey, I can do this all day. Come on, let's go. So
Okay, I have one question to ask her, because we haven't asked this question yet, and that is, what do you look for in a movie? And we go in there usually with some preconceptions of what the movie
Yeah.
should be, and to a certain degree we're like, oh, well, it better have this in it, or it better have that in it, and what we're thinking is completely different from what you would be thinking. So what is it that you,
Movies or movies in general.
well, we're here talking about comic books, so let's get the comic book movies.
All right. So when it comes to comic book movies, well, when it comes to all movies, I'm always looking for casting, storytelling, cinematography, especially because I don't read them. I want to know who these characters are. I want an introduction. I want to know, why are they popular? Who are they? What is their backstory? Can you give me some of that before with that? Because they're taking someone like me who didn't know anything about Black Panther, for example, and now I'm like, I love Black Panther. What is he going to do next? Now I'm on board because
Yeah.
they took the time to develop the character for someone who doesn't know the character.
It was introduced, I think it was Winter Soldier,
Yes.
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And he just came, you know, the building blew up, he put
Yeah.
on the mask, and you know, avenged his father, right? And then they went to his singular movie, which is Black Panther the movie, and yeah, well, whichever one. And then they went into his origin again, so had the origin of what happened, you know, and how Killmonger got into that role too. So I think that's where they again, Marvel's so good at what they do. You know, Disney's so great at what they do.
Or origin story, and they made it an integral part
Yeah.
of the master plan that they're laying out. You know, the fact is that when you look at Avenger 3, it was one of what 3 locations was Wakanda. If you didn't do that, if you didn't do the origin of Black Panther, I don't think it would have the same effect.
Yeah, they were like,
I don't
I
think
don't know what
fans
Wakanda's
would
about.
sit there and care.
Right.
I remember when he came out on Winter Soldier or Black Panther. I don't know. Maybe there's going to be another movie. You know, I didn't know.
Yeah.
And so I agree totally with what you're saying, that it seems like Marvel is really carefully mapping it out. It doesn't feel like they're just throwing and seeing what sticks to the wall.
I hate to do this, but
Yep,
we
so
have less than a
billions
minute
and
left.
Billions of dollars.
We have less than a minute left, so we need to wrap this up, guys.
Oh no! You mean we
Yeah.
can't go over?
No.
I've
a
read.
radio show.
I've read that we've been known for going over.
Yeah. No, unfortunately, we can't do that today. So.
Okay. I'll shut up.
So, with that being said, thank you, Trina. That's moviereviewmom.com.
What is it again?
Movie
Movie
review.
review.
If you guys want to hit us up later, you know where to find us on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. We're all over the place, Geeked Out LV. And that's it for our show. I'm your man, JQ.
Yeah.
Get this thing going.
Thanks for
One more
having
time,
me.
I messed
but
it
thank
up.
you, Trina.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Trina,
much.
It's been super fun.
This is Geeked Out. This is Dev Tell Radio. We are out. Peace.